Welcome back to what is the fourth episode of the ABR Access podcast. I welcome Mr. Will O'Malley back into the studio today, mate.
Thank you, Wolf. Thank you for making time to get this podcast done. We've got it here eventually, mate.
Oh, please.
Just a few scheduling errors, but that's fine, mate. I'll work with you, mate.
Well, yeah, Will mentioned off the bat there that we've rescheduled. We record today on a Thursday. It is mid-morning. We've just come from Gallops out at Murray Bridge, and with Will's very busy schedule, we've been lucky enough to have him join us despite changing the plan. We sometimes do this on a Wednesday evening, and I think I might have mucked Will's time around a little bit with his family.
All,
but
that's good.
We are back. Big episode, no guest again, but as we said it is going to be next week. There is a very high likelihood of an exciting guest joining us. So really keen on that, and potentially as a little bit of a hint, they might be able to sport a little bit of silverware, perhaps.
Yeah, silver.
Are we going to call it silverware?
Goldware, I don't know.
I don't
Bronze,
know.
yeah, whatever.
We'll see how we go next week, making that all work. But really exciting next week to potentially get a guest on, but plenty to get through this week. We've got races from last week. We had Lightning Stakes Day at Morphettville. We've got races this week. We've got a fair few representatives going around there. And really excitingly, we've had another winner, Willow.
How good.
Two out of the 3 recorded episodes, so now 3 out of the 4, we've had a winner.
Yes, very exciting. Yeah, leading impact. Obviously, yesterday went to Strathalbyn and did the right thing. We went there very confident.
Yep.
We thought he would win nearly first up, and obviously it didn't pan out on the day. But Taylor certainly made amends yesterday. Very good ride, straight at the front. Did a lot of work early and was dominant late. So exciting to have headline Thoroughbreds in the winner's stall again for us.
Yeah, nice horse, and I think a bit of reward for effort. As we've touched on, it's been a bit of a tricky period. We got Blackjack into the winner's stall a couple of weeks back, and another winner on yesterday at Strath. So good reward for effort for the likes of all of our staff back at home, and Taylor, who does a lot of work for us and got a winner for us, and as you said, made amends for. We did touch on his first up run, and we've actually on this podcast given quite a good push going forward. So even leading into that, and on the back of his first up run, we did say he'd be a horse to follow, and I got quite a few congratulatory text messages yesterday, which was obviously really nice.
That's good, mate.
Yeah, it's nice. You kind of forget how good it is to win when you have a bit of a dry patch. But, geez, it was nice driving home from the races yesterday. We stopped and got a couple of ice creams. We were quite chuffed with our work. Yeah, we did. So, no, really, really happy. And congratulations.
What did you go for? What ice cream did you get?
Got a cookies and cream maxi bon.
Okay.
What did you go to?
You
got the girls.
I like the Cyclones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Cyclones.
A little bit different.
Went to the movies on Sunday, got a Cyclone, got a few odd looks, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
I heard you went and saw the Odyssey, so maybe if we find time at the end of the podcast, we do a review of Christopher Nolan's
new movie segment. Yeah,
Will's movie reviews,
yep.
O'Malley movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, we got plenty to get through before we touch on the Odyssey. Obviously yesterday a winner, but we cast our minds back to Morphettville last Saturday, as I said off the top, Lightning Stakes Day. We had the 2 representatives, 2 really nice horses that we took to the races, which is obviously exciting, and hopefully a sign of some things to come. As we've said, we've got a couple of nice ones coming through, and we're starting to see some better results on the track. We took Zoo Win to the Lightning, but we also had Officiate go around. Should we touch on Officiate first?
Yeah, no, he was fantastic. Very happy with how he ran. Obviously, he ran second. Beaten by a better one on the day. Very good ride by Jason Holder in front. But look, he settled behind the speed as expected. They went quick early, and then the mid-race slowdown from Stubby, a bit of a master stroke, I could say. And just I guess saved enough energy. So he had enough carrots left in the tank late, and he was too good. But look, Officiate carried a big weight. He was only second up, 12.50 to a mile, and then ran home really well. So super happy with him. Yeah,
really proud of him. And as you said, Stubby with a masterful ride in front. And big congrats to Stubby. We do this episode on just following the last meeting of the season. So as of this weekend, it'll be a new racing season, which is obviously really exciting as we've got plenty in the works, and hoping for a pretty big bounce back in 2026-27 season.
Yes.
But yeah, big congrats to Stubby. Took out the Riders' Premiership, and obviously rode plenty of winners this year, a few for us, and he's been great to us. So congrats to Stubby.
100%. He's a great man, really good to work with, and very happy for him to be doing what he's doing at his age is very impressive. Yeah,
really, really good work. But yeah, really proud of Officiate as well. A big thanks to, I'll touch on it now, but the owners of Officiate and Zoo Win, who rolled out on Saturday. It was great to see a lot of them out there again. They're 2 terrific ownership groups, and we hopefully look forward to catching them again at their next run, which we might touch on towards the end of the podcast with our season launch coming up. But yeah, as I said, this weekend will be our first meeting of the new season, but we rounded out our last Saturday runner with a stakes runner, Zoo Win, 2-year-old filly.
Yep.
Went around second up as well. So she had the blinkers going on Saturday, Will. She ran fifth. Thoughts on the run?
Yeah, very happy. Like, would have loved for her to place at the 200s, but it wasn't to be.
Geez, I reckon, I got quite a few messages about how our eyes lit up live on the podcast last week when we saw 200 to 1. Obviously, it's basically ended up being a donation because she hasn't run a place. But, geez, she ran really well. I thought there was a lot of merit in the run.
Yeah, I'll take that bet every day of the week. Yeah, look, she was really good. The blinkers probably switched her on a little bit. They went pretty quick early, and she settled behind them. Didn't look to love the ground still. Like, I thought her action was just fair in the ground, which is kind of what we expected, but it was obviously a stakes race in our backyard, and she'd galloped well leading into it, and she ran super. Like, obviously felt the pinch late, kind of got a bit lost on her own, and I think the track was kind of her main downfall. I think there's no doubt she places on a dry track. So, but look, she's ran fifth in a stakes race, but in basically every other 2-year-old home apart from Jacaranda, who's a stakes filly in Victoria and ran really good race in the $2 million English Millennium. I think it probably should have won that race. So, look, the form around it's good and, exciting horse for us. And
the Lightning's obviously been a race to toss up really good form. Looking back the last couple of years, you got the likes of Lingani, who came out and won on Saturday, and she's a Lightning Stakes winner. Sakala, obviously a really nice filly as well.
Yep.
We're going to touch on it. We did it last week for the first time. We did our data segment. But just quickly, we'll do it again towards the end. But in terms of the data, how have Zoo Win and Officiate, they're both being second up after their first up runs. Kind of, have they both improved out of their first up run? Is there further improvement to come with them? Off the data, what has that shown you?
Yeah, look, certainly Zoo Win's one fitness-wise has improved a lot. So in her recovery, so we get recovery metrics, whether it be their fast recovery and their 15-minute recovery. And basically because she missed the trial, after that first up run, she galloped twice into the second up run, and you saw rapid improvement there. And I still think there's some to come there. And so she'll gallop again on next Tuesday, and I expect to see good improvement for her recoveries. Officiate does things really easily in terms of his recovery is always super. So I don't think he's too far away in terms of fitness. Like, he's probably, that next run we'll see, a big. I think we'll see the best of him. But some athletes, like, as you know, like yourself, just they do things easily and they recover easily, and I think he's one of them. But he's certainly gone round and done just evens today at Murray Bridge, and I just had a quick look at the recovery data, and he's done it very, very easily. So, but it's something to definitely keep an eye on.
Not too sure how that would relate to me. I had to help carry a saddle across the courtyard yesterday, and actually nearly had a cardiac arrhythmia. So, they certainly set to peak third up, and likely races on the calendar for them in the next. So on the 8th, Saturday the 8th.
Yeah, 8th. So both go to the 8th. Officiate's more than likely a 78 mile, and he'll get down in the weights there. I believe he's still a 68, so he might get down to about 55 kilos. So
wow.
Big weight drop, which is nice. And Zoo will go to the 66,050. It's a 3-year-old race. And look, she'll be well placed in that off that run on Saturday.
Yeah, so Zoo Win and Officiate will take place. Zoo Win having a first run as a 3-year-old, naturally, then obviously Officiate first run as a 4-year-old. And this weekend we do celebrate the horse's birthday, so
that's right.
Really, really exciting. We'll have all of those new yearlings turning 2, and
yes,
and it flows on. So yeah, that's coming up. Anything else do we need to touch on from the week that has just been, Willow?
No, I don't think so. No, I think horses are really starting to kind of show some form, and as I said in our leadership meeting the other day, I feel like we're going to the races probably a bit more confident with how they're going to perform, given the issues we've had with the tracks and the wet weather. It's starting to turn a bit, so it's very exciting. On
that, before we look ahead to this weekend, might be important to touch on a little bit that has been going on in the scenes and behind the scenes, is our recent kind of plan to take some horses up to Murray Bridge to work.
Yes.
I think a lot of trainers out that way, and people in the industry might have seen through the socials, we've been spending a little bit more time galloping our horses up there, but we can kind of officially say that we will be taking up a barn up at Murray Bridge as of early August. Yep. So in the next couple of weeks, we're looking to have plenty of horses out there, which is obviously really exciting. Anguston, we are incredibly grateful for how we get to use those facilities on behalf of Wayne Mitchell, and we'll still be using that for all of our pre-training, and a lot of our horses will spend a lot of time there, and it's been a fantastic property for us, and obviously in the past as well. But just with the addition, and obviously with the tricky track conditions and weather that's been around, and getting Gallops has been a challenge, and Murray Bridge has kind of offered us a little bit of an alternative to get horses onto the flat more often. So tell us a little bit about that move, Willow.
Yep.
Obviously, as I said, we'll be keeping Anguston a big part of the business, but
absolutely, yeah.
Murray Bridge as well.
Yeah, so like obviously we were originally at Gawler and at Anguston, so to have that variation, so have the flat and the hill. Obviously, not all horses love running up a hill all the time, and some horses don't respond really well to it. So it's a horses for courses type of thing. Obviously, with the issues that have been at Gawler, we moved away from there because they couldn't handle the numbers we had. And we moved up to Anguston, but what we learnt pretty quickly is that we still need that variation. Murray Bridge offers us that. They've got fantastic facilities there. I've been really taken by the facilities there. I know Ned and Aaron are the same, and it's really exciting for the stable to take up a barn there. Give ourselves the option. They've got plenty of different options. They still do have the hill track there, but like the Anguston side of things doesn't change too much. It's just because we know that the first 6 weeks in a horse's preparation up there, they get really fit and they're ready to trial and ready to go to the jump outs. But to have that variation for horses that aren't handling the hill is really important, and we get that going to Murray Bridge. Yeah,
it opens up a whole lot of opportunities for us, and we get to see the return of some of our horses that have just been tipped out through this tricky period when they come back to Murray Bridge. It's going to be really exciting to hopefully see some of them bounce back to some of their best. Perhaps a few of those horses who might have needed some of that flat work and to get off of those tricky tracks will get that opportunity with the different variation that is available at Murray Bridge. And as Willow said, really exciting. The facilities there are outstanding, and the people have been fantastic as well. So really looking forward to it, and making that a kind of like a second base for us.
Absolutely, yeah. So that will be happening in the next couple of weeks. We're not going to be going down there, rushing down into it too quickly. We want to make sure it's set up properly before we do. But I know Ned was having a look around a barn today, and we're just excited to get that going. Yeah,
be really cool once that's up and firing. Get some people out to have a look and kind of see how the morning works and 100%. Get some content up. It'll be really exciting. On Murray Bridge, before again we look ahead to this Saturday, we did have Gallops. We might do our Trackwork stuff because we're going to go. We'll finish with our weekend preview.
Yep.
Trackwork Whispers for this week. We were at Murray Bridge this morning for Gallops. We had, I think, how many did we have in the end? 10?
9, 9. 9 went there. We had 4 on Tuesday at Gawler as well. So, I think a lot of them were just educational and maintenance gallops today.
Yep.
But one probably that I have been watching closely and really stands out is that microphone, Go Charlie Go.
Yep, Charlie.
He is turning 3, obviously. Bought at the Adelaide sale. There is still shares available in him, and he's progressing really well. His work this morning was super. Just had a look at his data then, and it was really impressive. And he's just got he goes away the right way. He travels really well in his gallops, and I'm certain that he's going to make a nice racehorse. So if you are interested at all, get involved.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see his kind of progression, this preparation. He's always been one that's a little bit flown under the radar.
Yeah.
And this prep, he's kind of become a little bit more of a man. He's doing the right thing on the track and galloping really well. And his work this morning was nearly effortless. He was outstanding this morning, I thought. And I think he's starting to feel himself as a bit of a racehorse as well. He's getting a bit of swagger and a bit of confidence about him. So
absolutely,
yeah, certainly one that I'm excited to see into that 3-year-old season, what he can produce. That just about does us. Anything else from Trackwork? I thought obviously Officiate, we've touched on him already. He worked particularly well this morning. He is in a fantastic spot, that horse.
Great spot, yeah. Yeah, he just did evens today, and Jacko nailed his times there. It was good to see, but did it very easily. He'll go to the races in a week's time and be super competitive.
That brings us to the weekend preview. This week we have got the 4 runners heading to Morphettville.
Yeah.
Starting off with Oh Lovey No, followed by Mrs. Pennycracker and Indian Jewel in the same race, and then Everything Counts. Just let me clarify that before we get into it. That's right, isn't it?
I think so.
We'll kick it off with my girl, Oh Lovey No, not blessed by the barrier gods on Saturday. She's drawn barrier 16, so she'll be starting just about from the Junction Hotel with Maddie Chadwick aboard.
Yes.
$21 in the market coming off of a 9th at Mildura, but we did touch on in our review of her last start, there was a little bit of merit in the run, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she ran really well. Again, this is probably a stepping stone. We do think she's going to be better out, probably to 2,500. Just the way she is working and the way she ran last start. Horrible draw. I think that's 2 in a row now for her.
Maybe we could start with some of the challenges are the trip and maybe the draw.
Yeah, so But, with these stays, you need to get fitness into them, and the best way to do that is to race. And certainly staying at the 1900 is not ideal, but it also profiles well that next start, you're going to be seeing a horse rock hard fit and ready to step out and trip. So, look, she'll be back from the draw, no doubt about that. She'll be near last. The Parks, who knows how it's going to play, but I'd say there's a more chance that you need to be up there than not. But staying races are a bit of a different kettle of fish as well. And I do think that's probably something that's underestimated by maybe the racing public that don't follow it as closely, is that especially this time of year, track pattern has a huge, I guess, bearing on races. And if you are out the back on a track like the Parks where they're running good time up front, it's near impossible to win. Yeah. As I said, staying races can be a bit different. So I expect her to run well. Like, it is a race that it's very even. I think longer route's the favourite, and I do think it'll be hard to beat. But apart from that, there's not much difference between a lot of them. They all run around the same mark, and that's where, as I say, that track pattern and where you settle in run has a huge bearing on the result. Yeah,
you were giving her quite like a little low-key push ahead of Saturday, but as you said, she'll still be better again.
Yeah,
further up in trip.
I just think she'll run well. I don't think she'll win the race just from where she's going to get in the run, but I think she'll run well in a very even race.
I think something that certainly is in her favour, she did have to carry 61 kilos last start. She gets to claim a Matt Chadwick here, so she goes down to 53.5. Obviously, the gate's not ideal, but she... in something that is in her favour is me and Matt will be combining. I'll be strapping because I absolutely love this horse. Just
the dream team.
Yeah, and she is actually undefeated at Morphettville, so she loves HQ, as do I. So really looking forward to strapping Penny on Saturday, and hopefully she runs really well for Nick. Penny
or Lovey, mate?
Did I say Penny or Lovey? Lovey, both. We can touch on Lovey, but. They're literally. It's a very exciting weekend for me. There's a couple of my favourite horses going.
It's a wet dream, really.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call it that. I don't know. This might be a family program, but no, it wouldn't be. We're talking about betting on horses. I don't think many kids are listening. So then we move on to race 4, the 1250 benchmark 64. We got 2 mares first up.
Yes.
We've got number 3, Indian Jewel for Ashvin going aboard for the first time. Been doing a little bit of work at Murray Bridge, something that is a bit of an opportunity for us. Being out there, it is obviously tricky at Angaston to get jockeys out there. Yep. At Murray Bridge, they're out there doing track work every morning. So we've had the likes of Ashvin and Jacko being out there quite often. So reward for his efforts and get a nice ride on Saturday aboard this mare. And we've got my other girl, Mrs. Penny Cracker, going around first up, Taylor Johnston. We might touch on Indian Jewel now. Yep. And we might hold Penny for our data segment because we've got a little bit to talk about with her. But Indian Jewel first up, Will. I think we gave her a bit of a mention last week on her track work, but again on Tuesday she went to the Gallops at Gawler and worked particularly well. She's first up for a while off of Mick Price and Mick Kent Jr. in Victoria. What are we expecting from her first up?
Well, it's really just a kick-off point for her. Her best ratings, best form is all out over a mile. And we've drawn wide again, unfortunately. I think if she drew well and we could hold a spot, I'd be very confident she'd be, right in the finish. But we can't be pushing her early, given she's first up at the 1250. We don't, be chucking her in the race. So she'll get back. She does that usually in her races anyway. I remember speaking to Mick Kent Jr. at the sales when she just arrived, and he said, she just doesn't usually hold a spot, and that's why over the 1250, if she's not holding a spot, she's going to be back. They're probably going to be making hard work of it in terms of making ground. But her gallop, she galloped with Shady Thinker on Tuesday.
My goodness,
and it was really good. So, she's in a good spot, and I think she's going well. But I think, second, third up is where you're going to see the best of her.
Yeah, her gallops, we could not fault her. She's been actually a bit of a surprise packet with how well she's been going. But as you said, 60 kilos first up. Probably look to see her again in a couple of starts. But it would not knock me over to see her run a mighty race on Saturday, especially if she can kind of get out of the gates and find a spot-ish.
Yeah, and if there's good tempo on the race and that they can run on, then absolutely. But certainly, it's about a stepping stone with her. And when I talk about that track pattern, it's about when horses are ready. So if she was ready to go and you drew this wide, then you'd be umming and ahhing, do we go forward or do we wait for another week, because you don't want to waste a run. But this is just a fitness building run. Yep.
And we did say off the top, we've got Mrs. Pennycracker who's drawn an inside gate in that race, but we'll touch on her in our data segment, so sit tight. We then move on to, I think, race 5 is where Billy, Everything Counts, is in with Ashvin again, $18 drawn gate 10 off a little bit of a break, only a couple of weeks between runs.
Yeah.
Expectations, can he kind of find his best form on Saturday, Willow?
Look, your guess is as good as mine. Like, we do think we're kind of getting on top of his small niggles, and he has the ability, and his best form would be going very close. Again, an awkward draw. So we have to just weigh up what we do there. We haven't sat down and come up with a plan, because I think he's a horse that can, settle on speed and run well, but it's just that 15:50 start. Do you push the button early, or do you, settle back and let him finish off? I think we'll have an idea by this stage of the day as well what the pattern's doing after we've walked it as well. So that'll probably come into it. But look, his best form is definitely good enough to win. We just need to get him back there and get him in the right race and race shape.
He's one that if he ran up to his looks, he'd be going really close. He has looked outstanding throughout his whole preparation. He's looked an absolute picture of health. He just hasn't quite brought it to the track just yet. But hoping to see him bounce back on Saturday. As the owners have been really patient with him at OTI, and we'd love to get a win for them. They're obviously really respectable ownership group, so it'd be great to get another winner for them. That's all of our runners ahead of Saturday. We've done our Trackwork stuff. Now we might just do Penny based off of her data. So last week we did our segment for the first time. We talked about Shady Thinker and his early data. I actually had a message from Mac, who's Trackwork rider, back at Anguston about that day with Shady, and she actually sent me a video of Shady coming out of the gates in that jump out you mentioned, where he bombed it and rattled home, and he bombed it absolutely horribly. Yeah. Like, he genuinely walked out. Yeah. And then there's the other video from the angle where he's catching up to them, and he's coming like 4 to their 1. Yes. So not surprising that his data was quite good that day. But talk to us a little bit about Penny, how she's kind of prepped up this time compared to last preparation as she looks to race first up on Saturday.
Yeah, so this is kind of where the data does come in handy. At the moment, with the tracks, there's limited trial and jump out options. She's had one trial over at Minderi Halidon. Yep. And on a very wet track, which we don't think she loves. No. But we've monitoring her data the last 2 gallops. So she's done 4 home 2, I think it was last Thursday. Yep. And was it last Friday and Tuesday? Yep. And her recoveries have been really good. So when you match them up with the recoveries she was producing in the middle of her prep, where she was going really well last in the summer, they're not far off at all. So instead of waiting another nearly month to go to the trials, we can use this as a second trial. She's definitely ready to race. Now, she's going to be much better 2nd, 3rd, 4th up. We know that. But we're not going to go to the races and bottom her out, because her recovery and her fitness levels are at a point where we're confident she's going to handle the race. So that's where it's really important. So with the data, you get a fast recovery. So that's their recovery as soon as they finish, and then 15 minutes afterwards. And then there's a couple of, metrics we follow. So it's usually around 55% is your fast recovery, and then 45% is your 15-minute recovery. So if you're around those markers, you're confident that they're in the right spot and ready to race. Yeah. So we obviously, if there was trials around, you could send her to another trial, but this Saturday just looks like there's quite a logical kick-off point for her over the 1250, and there's actually a really nice race for her in a couple of weeks as well. So we use this as a bit of a stepping stone, just with the thought in the back of your mind that there isn't trials until kind of mid to late August. Yeah, correct. So that's obviously a little bit of a challenge that some of our horses will have over the next couple of weeks, is they're in need of a trial and get to the races. But obviously you've got the likes of some of the flat gallops that we can do at Gawler and Murray Bridge, and in this circumstance, we're happy to take Penny to the races. Essentially use it as a trial, and but we're confident, that it's not going to flatten her. Yeah, and I loved her gallop. I think it was it Tuesday? Tuesday, her gallop was fantastic, and certainly a horse that is better on top of the ground. So as the tracks hopefully start to improve, she's going to improve as well. So really excited to get Penny back to the races. She's another one that I got a lot of time for her. She's one of my favourites as well. That brings us to the end of the data segment this week. Outside of that, obviously we had our season, our winter parade 2 weeks ago. We covered that, but we've got our season launch coming up next Saturday. We touched on it a few times already, but potential to have some really nice horses going to that day. We touched on Zoo Win and Officiate, but we can kind of softly suggest that there might be a certain So You Think gelding that might run that day as well. All going well, yes. We'll see Shady Thinker back at the races, so he'll gallop again on Tuesday, and as long as he gets through that fine, he'll be at the races next Saturday, the 8th. So there's a couple of options. There is the Behemoth Stakes. It's obviously the Group 3 weight for age race over 1,200, and then there's a 1,100 metre 72 on the same day. So we just want to look at the field strengths before locking in an option, but there's certainly both are on the table at the moment.
Yeah, so that's looking like it will be a really exciting day, and that is pretty much sold out. Like I think we've got maybe 5 tickets left, and some of our friends and family, and like Aaron and Ned themselves, not all of those people have actually put tickets in, and we've got a capacity.
So it's sold out.
Pretty much. Like if we have some people bail and you're stuck, you can send me a message. But it's pretty much all wrapped up there. And the only other event we've got in the pipeline, we potentially could have a spring launch. That's something that's very much in the background as a bit of a. It's quite a blank canvas at the moment about what we're going to do there, but there's a big opportunity to get something going away from Anguston potentially. We'll see.
Yes.
But we also have another event away from Anguston. We have the Golf Day in October.
Yes.
We've touched on it most weeks. I think at the season launch we'll have a bit of a flyer ready to go just for people to register their interest.
100%.
If you are keen, we've got some of the details locked in, so I'm more than happy to take a call or a message and I can put you on a list ready to rock and roll. But that
looking
sounds
for
like
sponsors there. And what I thought about, I haven't even touched on this with you.
This could go anywhere.
We need sponsors for the podcast.
Well, yeah.
If you want to sponsor a segment, Will's data segment, you could have it sponsored by Prestige Equine Veterinary. I know the Adelaide Pullmart boys, you could jump on boys, or the BTS, Brody and Toby. Someone, if you want to get your brand out there, this is reaching millions at the moment, and I'm sure you'll get your money back straight away.
That might be a bit of mayo on that, but sometimes when you go to the races and people mention that they've been watching it, I feel like there's been millions watching it. It's already more people than I expect. I actually thought it was only me before I go to bed most nights, just put it on and just
I think
listen to the sweet
14 or 15 listens so far for the whole 3 episodes, which is good.
People are going to think that that's legitimate, but we actually really appreciate the support. The messages have been really quite surprising.
Nah, it has been good, yeah.
People are enjoying it.
The cat hasn't made an appearance today, though.
It's good. He's been very quiet this week.
I think the listeners will go down then. The cat's basically running the show.
I don't want him in here. He might have learned his lesson. But that kind of is everything we've touched on last week, this week coming. A little bit on Murray Bridge and some events. And the last thing we need to do is update our best bets.
Have we hit one yet?
Nope.
A couple of equine geniuses here.
Nah, but we did get leading impact. Like, we did say that he'd be awfully hard to beat next start.
Yes.
And he did salute really nicely yesterday. Best bet ahead of this weekend. Now, I have actually had a bit of a look this week.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of form last night. Yes.
So go right ahead with yours, Willow.
Well, I thought
maybe we could start with what we think our best chance from our stable perspective is, and then a wider one.
I won't be backing any of ours if you want the honest truth, but I thought the best chance. Look, everything counts if he brings his best, but I just don't know if he will. Honestly, I think they're there. As I've touched on, barriers on the parks are critical, and we haven't drawn many kind ones.
No.
We haven't drawn. Well, we've drawn one kind.
Yeah, Penny.
Yeah, but she's going to get back, and she's having a trial. So, yes, I think our weekend will. All we want to see is them running well and finishing off the race well. And
who would surprise you the least if they won? Then let's put it that way. Who would surprise you the least? Would everything counts be the least surprising because he definitely has it under the bonnet?
Indian Jewel maybe if she got the right run.
That's how I was going to approach it.
Yeah. I think all of them are using the run as a platform to better race or to their next race.
Yeah, she was the one that I thought if you could give a little bit of an each way push to, I thought her gallop and her last probably 3 gallops have been A1 for her. She's been really, really good. So it wouldn't knock me over if she won. Outside of that, Willow, your best bet, and you going head to head. Now I have actually done this. Well, yeah. Well, no. You're gonna put a best bet up, and I'm gonna put a best bet up.
Sorry.
And I've done this with my brain, not with my heart. So I'm not tipping Lovey, not tipping Penny, and I'm not tipping Extra Hot this week. So what have you got?
Time to get on then. I thought at Morphettville, race number 6, next to Nick's.
Yep.
David Jolly and Potsy. I reckon it should be about $2.50, and you're getting $4.40 now.
Okay.
So I think that's a bet. And there was one in Flemington. I thought Sassapeel in I think it's race 7 or 8. Danny O'Brien filly. I think it will win a Group 1 in the spring, and so it'll be winning on Saturday.
Okay, I have gone with race 7, number 8, Sought After for Peter Moody, horse over from New Zealand. Last time it was in SA over 1,400 metres. It came from last at Murray Bridge and won. drawn a nicer gate this week, and it was a pretty decent run in the Mildura Cup. I thought there was a bit of merit to that.
It was a very good run. It was a hard day to make ground that day.
Yeah, and I thought in that race as well, one to just keep an eye on was Sav on Ice. He did it a lot wrong first up, and a horse with clearly above average ability has won at Morphettville, has won over the 1400 and loves around affected.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me to see him run a much improved race at $21.
Quality animal.
Yeah, if he can kind of bring back to his best form. So that wraps us up. Willow, anything else?
We've done it again. Well done, Wolf. Let me know your schedule for next week so we can put it in the diary and don't change it on me.
I think if we I can pretty much guarantee right now we'll do the podcast anytime between Monday and Friday.
Yeah, that'd be good, mate.
If you could
just let me know and I'll just change it and drop everything, mate. Thank you very much.
That'd be great. But we appreciate the support, everyone, and looking forward to this week's races. Good luck to the connections that are involved this weekend, and obviously, hopefully, our horses and jockeys get around safely and we can kick home a winner, but really looking forward to this weekend, but particularly next weekend with our season launch and some really nice horses going around. So we'll be back next week, and that's about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.